There are three numbers that are going to make up the most important score you will have in your life. And those three numbers make up your credit score. Now, your credit score is going to be used to determine many things in life, such as being able to get a mortgage, being able to rent an apartment, and even being able to refinance your loans, which is something us students will definitely want to know how to do. So, the topic of credit scores is something I've been researching for quite a while now, as I just got my own credit card and I wanted to know what I could do to give myself a financially stable future. So today I'm going to share with you 3 of the tips I have learned to keep your credit score high. And those 3 tips are paying off your credit card, opening multiple credit lines, and keeping track of your credit scores and credit report. So first I want to talk to you about the importance of paying off your credit card in full and on time. Brianna McGurran, in her 2020 article, 21 Ways to Improve Credit in 2021, talks about the benefit of setting up automatic payments. Now, setting up automatic payments means that your credit score isn't going to dip just because you forgot to pay one bill. However, you should be wary of the account you're pulling money from to pay off that credit card, as you want to make sure you don't have an overdraft on that account. It's also important to pay your credit card off in full. Now, this means that you're not going to be living beyond your means just because you have the extra money. You should only be using 30% of your credit limit. And if you're in credit card debt, you should focus on paying off the credit card with the highest interest rate first. So now that you know about the importance of paying off your credit card in full and on time, I want to talk to you about how having multiple credit lines will actually benefit you. Now, when you apply for a credit card, that is going to cause a hard inquiry to show up on your credit report. And this is going to drop you a few points. So, when you're shopping around for loans or mortgages, make sure you're doing so in a 14 to 45 day period. That way, only one hard inquiry is going to show up on your credit report. Also, applying for multiple credit cards is going to show lenders that you're not in a financially safe situation. That's going to make them turn away from lending to you. You also need to be cautious of how often you apply. As Capital One talks about in their article, can you apply for multiple credit cards at one time? You should be waiting between 6 to 12 months between applications. And before you apply, make sure you're checking the qualifications of that credit card to make sure that you meet them. So now that I've told you about how having multiple credit lines is actually a benefit, I want to finally talk to you about why you should be checking your credit scores and credit report often. Now, Equifax talks about the importance of your credit card score and your credit card report in their article, Why Should I Check My Credit Reports and Credit Scores? Because you want to be checking for inaccurate information, and you want to check for unfamiliar accounts. You can do so by getting your credit report from the 3 major nationwide credit bureaus and comparing the information on those reports. Also, doing this makes sure that you catch fraud early on instead of later. It's also beneficial to check your credit score and credit report because it gives you a better idea of your financial standing. You're going to see what lenders are going to see when you're applying for loans, and it'll also help you decide if you should apply to refinance your loans or even apply for other credit cards. So, to wrap everything up, I want to review these 3 tips with you. Now, you want to make sure you're paying off that credit card on time and in full. Make sure you have multiple credit lines but be cautious of how often you're applying. And finally, check your credit report and credit score often to make sure that there's no fraudulent activity happening under your name. And now that I've given you my 3 tips, maybe don't go and buy that Gucci bag with your credit limit. Keep in mind the 30% limit. Maybe go buy something from the dollar store.